Welcome back. I'm here today with Rod Smith. He is the founder and the CEO of Green Polka Dot Box. Welcome to today's show, Rod.
Alan, thank you. Good to be here with you.
So that's a mouthful with the name there, but tell me the inspiration behind this, and then I also want to get your background.
Well, I wish I had a great story for you, Alan, but when my wife and I sat down 10 years ago to come up with the right name, you know, all of the keywords associated with organic food and clean food were taken, all the URLs. So we struggled, and you know, I came down to the conclusion. I said, well, what if we did it about our packaging? And I asked her a question. I said, for example, what do you think of when I say little blue box? And she instantly recognized that was Tiffany's.
Yeah, I got that one too.
Yeah. So I said, what if we build our brand around our packaging? And anyway, one thing led to another, and we came up with this whimsical name, Green Polka Dot Box. We wanted it to be associated with the green movement. We wanted to be able to ship a variety of things, so hence we came up with different color polka dots. And it's turned out to be a great decision. We violated all the traditional branding laws by choosing it, but it is memorable, and we get to talk about it from time to time like this.
Okay, so let's rewind a little bit. You're in the organic food industry, and what did you do prior to stepping into this industry? What led you up to this place?
Well, my background was in public company foundership, if you will. I started another public company called InContact. It's a NASDAQ company. It recently sold for about $900 million. We were in the telecommunications business, but I founded that company and operated it for a number of years. This is a great departure from it on the one hand, but on the other, we're an online business just like we were with InContact, and we've developed some very sophisticated systems for the transportation and distribution of what we call clean foods. I think organic foods is an old name now, but clean foods is taking on some steam because clean foods can be organic, but they can also be other high-value natural foods that don't have any unclean or toxic ingredients or any harmful ingredients. So we're in the clean food business.
You know, this is a big trend right now, the organic food, but I also understand, you know, I have experience of recently visiting with the farmer. He says that when they turned over to organic and didn't use the chemicals and all the things that go into it, a lot of their crops died. And so from the industry perspective, of course, there's a differential in price, organic versus non-organic, but you bring a unique set back to the industry that you're actually trying to deliver more value at reasonable prices.
Yeah, the price of organic foods is artificially high because it's a scarce commodity. I don't know if you're aware, but only about 25% of the food consumed in the U.S., and I'm talking about clean foods, only 25% is actually grown here.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Comes from outside the United States. So you have all kinds of issues with growing cycles and long transportation cost. But then if you look at the way the distribution system works, from production to the retail consumer, there's an average markup that ranges from 250 to 300%. So our mission as a company is to flatten that out, to collapse those middle stages of cost, to actually eliminate them and deliver clean food at the lowest prices to consumers.
So in doing this, is your customer, is it the end user? Are you wholesaling this, or who
Our
is your
customer is the end user.
End user.
Our goal is to be able to provide the end user with discounts up to 60% off what they would normally pay for clean foods. In other words,
oh my gosh, you're taking the middleman out.
That's right, we're taking out all the middlemen. We want to make clean foods as affordable as contaminated GMO foods.
I'm visiting here today with Rod Smith. He's the founder of Green Polka Dot Box, and you're delivering organic food to the industry at very reasonable prices. And Rod, I need to take a quick break, and we'll be right back after these messages.
I love fishing, with my family.
I think it would be easier to use a net.
It was so much fun.
the times when we are together, it makes it all the more worth it.
Having Dad teach them how to like cast a fly rod, and
As long as we're doing stuff together, we're having fun.
Some people see a father and a son fishing together, while others see a succession plan.
Welcome back. I'm here today with Rod Smith. He is the founder of Green Polka Dot Box, and you're delivering organic food to the end user. And it's interesting. I want to very unique, but I want to go back in terms of when you first started opening your doors. There had to be some logistical challenges of how do you go from saying, okay, we're going to put things in a Green Polka Dot Box to, building your market in your community. So as a founder, how'd you go about that process?
There were challenges because really never before could a consumer go online, just like they would at the grocery store, and go down the rows and pick item by item, onesies and twosies, and put them in their shopping cart. We created the same experience essentially for a consumer online. So we had to be able to fulfill from thousands of products a single custom picked order that would have unique products in it, very different from the order before or the order after. So there was a challenge in learning how to do that. More particularly when we started adding frozen and refrigerated foods into the mix along with dry goods. So now you can shop online with us and get an order that has frozen grass-fed beef steaks and Amy's pizza and burritos and frozen vegetables and fruits, along with your peanut butter and your cooking oil and your pasta and bread and all kinds of other things into one single box. So we developed it into an art form. We're the only company in the country that can do that now.
And so it's interesting. I read on it came across the wire this last day yesterday about an individual out in the California. They had a Facebook group and they were sharing recipes, and they decided to make some ceviche or some type of. And the individual ended up getting arrested for putting something out on the market that they have produced. So I want to differentiate what you do. You're not producing your own food.
No.
You're basically an online grocery store for organic products.
Yes.
Okay. So
Yeah.
So now, how did you go about building the community here, getting the word out that hey, I got a company going, and word of mouth? Or
Well,
what
it was all word of mouth.
Okay.
There's a huge consumer base that's waiting for clean foods. The market size right now is about 35 billion, and there are about 18 to 19 million adult consumers in the U.S. that purchase clean foods either frequently or occasionally. But what people don't know is there's another 70 million adults and their families that have tried organic foods and would be repeat consumers if they could afford it. So we think that we are leading a giant consumer shift from contaminated GMO foods to clean foods, and that over the next 10 years, that 70 million adults is going to shift their spending away from contaminated foods to clean foods. So the answer is there's already a huge demand for it, but it boils down to affordability and convenience. And these are the services that we offer.
Okay, so you would have some type of barometer on what areas are the hottest in organic foods, where the greatest demand exists? Is it for the fresh, packaged, or what would you say? I'm putting you on the spot. I realize
Well, really,
that,
you divide it up into about 3 parts.
Okay.
So you've got your shelf-stable pantry items,
Okay.
the things that you keep in the pantry. Then you have your frozen and refrigerated goods, which include all your proteins and dairy products and things like that. And then you have produce. About 30% of the household budget is made up of produce. The average family today spends about $700 a month or $8,400 a year. And our goal is to provide all those foods for them. Right now we provide all the pantry items and all the frozen refrigerated goods and some specialty produce items, but we have a plan to get heavy into produce in the near future.
I'm visiting here today with Rod Smith. He's the founder and the CEO of Green Polka Dot Box. And Rod, I need to take a quick break, and we'll be right back after these messages.
Since you can't take your wealth with you, spend time with your family.
Welcome back. I'm here today with Rod Smith. He's the founder and the CEO of Green Polka Dot Box. And, we were talking about your model of bringing organic foods at affordable prices to the end consumer. And you do this on the internet.
That's right.
So when you're in the shipping, and basically I'll call you a logistics company because you're basically
That's a part of it,
consolidating.
yeah.
But how do you control the shipments? Are you in a certain geographical boundary, or how large are you?
We ship all over the continental United States, and we use all the major carriers. So the order comes in online, we process it, and ship within 24 hours.
And then how do you ensure the quality of your food product?
Well, we only carry top quality, proven manufactured goods, proven products. So we don't take any chances there. We want products that are what we call essential to the typical family budget, what's for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. So we only work with vendors and provisioners that have those products. So quality is never really an issue, though we have our own internal staff. We have a full-time registered dietitian. We carefully vet every product and every ingredient to know where it's sourced from. We don't take any chances because ultimately we're in the trust business. Our consumers trust that we are going to deliver them clean foods that don't have any problems.
Rod, when the organic movement has really been increasingly more popular.
Yeah.
And also you're in an area where when the demand's picking up, I think you hit a real sweet spot there for getting in right in the middle, because you're actually helping people save a lot of dollars.
That's right.
Especially you're taking out the middleman.
That's right.
So
Yeah.
when we look at your model, how with shipments, how much do you ship a week, or how big are you right now?
Well, Alan, it's an interesting question, and leads to kind of a story I need to tell you.
Sure.
We started out with the idea that we were going to have a single online store. And we ramped out. We came out of the chute, did $4 million in sales our first year. We processed hundreds of thousands of orders. But we weren't achieving the scale, the accelerated growth that I really wanted. I believe that we have a chance to completely disrupt the current distribution system. So about 2 years into it, so this would be 2014, I came up with an idea on how we could work with not one store, but thousands of stores. And I started working on a digital application that would put market influencers together with consumers, so that market influencers under their own brand could sell to their own customer bases. And for the last 2.5 years, we've been developing that technology offline. Now we're ready. We have 285 stores so far. We're going to 2,000 stores by the middle of next year. We already reach 45 million customers, potentially, when our highest customer reach was 28,000 with a single store. Now we're at 45 million, and we're ready to turn on. We're ready to open our stores in February. So we're going to see our sales revenue go from a peak of about 400,000 a month under the old system to starting out at between 3 and 4 million a month beginning in February of next year.
It's quite a volume.
And growing, yeah.
It's, and it's a much different dynamic of when you're logistically trying to move that much product around.
Yes, but we've got a lot of experience. We've really perfected our core competencies in logistics, fulfillment, order processing, customer care, and even online marketing. We're one of the leading online marketing companies in America because of our experience. So, for us to scale up from 400,000 to even 10 million a month in revenue, that can be done very quickly. We have all the systems in place. The only choke point, if you will, would be the acquisition and training of new labor. But all the systems are in place for growth.
So, Rod, when an individual customer comes to you, they're going to put their order in, and then typically what do they expect for turnaround since this is a food item?
Well, they're going to place an order through their favorite health merchant store. I referred to are these influencers and their customers. Okay. Mm-hmm. We call them health merchants. They have their own online store. We work with them to do the marketing direct to their customers. Their customers will see a promotion, click on a link and come right into the store of the health merchant. The order's processed immediately, and then we ship generally within 24 hours at the latest. If we get the order at a certain time during the morning, it's out that afternoon.
What if I want to go to greenpolkadotbox.com? Is that a possibility, or
Well,
is the model really designed through the health merchant period?
when we made the decision to go with the health merchant platform, we decided to close Green Polka Dot Box as a store.
Okay.
Green Polka Dot Box is going to become the champion of the clean food movement, the leader of the clean food revolution. So we will have an online presence, but it will be more to promote the buying collective that we're building with millions of consumers. And consumers will be able to come to Green Polka Dot Box and they'll be able to find out who the health merchant is that's closest to them. And so that's our new role. We're going to be building this massive buying collective, which I think could reach over 30 million customers in the next 10 years.
Oh my gosh, that's well. It sounds exciting, and you're onto the new age. It seems that as we're moving forward, and I've heard people draw this analogy that that the grocery stores are built on a certain logistical supply chain.
Right.
But with the baby boomers and the population shift, they're going to have a challenge maintaining that because the labor force is disappearing.
That's right.
So
It's going to be very difficult. And
yeah.
And there are disruptors like us that come along and we collapse that supply chain. We bypass all those middlemen that you mentioned earlier to provide a better value with more convenience right to the consumer's door.
Okay, so Rod, a person that wants to find more information about greenpolkadotbox.com,
I think the best way would be to go to our page we call GPDB, which is the acronym for Green Polka Dot Box, gpdb.investments, and on that landing page we have a full story about the company.
Excellent. Well, Rod, I appreciate you being on today's show.
Thank you.
I've been visiting here today with Rod Smith. He's the founder and the CEO of Green Polka Dot Box. And we'll be right back after these messages.